Hello, Detroit. This is Council President Pro Tem Mary Sheffield, and we are here at University Prep for our 6th annual State of the Youth. In just a few minutes, this auditorium will be filled with young people excited and ready to listen and engage in important discussion around education, the state of Detroit, voting, and even the influence of hip-hop. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this conversation.
All right, y'all ready? You prep? Yeah. So the first person to grace the stage and bless the mic this morning is Detroit's rising political star coming from a long legacy of activism in Detroit. She's the youngest person ever elected to Detroit City Council and the creator of State of the Youth and Occupy the Corner Detroit, both designed to turn up for Detroit's young people. Whether it's on the block or on Capitol Hill, she's always has Detroit's youth's back. You prep, get lit. For today's host, here to represent for young people, Council President Pro Tem Mary Sheffield. Riding on my life. Oh. Oh, 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 oh.
University Prep, how you guys doing? Y'all feeling good today? Y'all look good, y'all look good. Again, my name is Council President Pro Tem Mary Sheffield, and I have the privilege of serving on the Detroit City Council. I am the youngest person in the history of Detroit to serve on the City Council at the age of 26. Amen. And it was important for me that once I got elected, that I will continue to engage with our young people, because guess what, you all? You all have the power inside of you all to change things and take action in this city. And I wanted to make sure that I made it my mission to come back to every single high school in the city of Detroit and put on the event, make sure you all know who I am and know the power that you all have inside of you to make change and be leaders in this city, all right? So today, we're going to have an amazing discussion. We're going to challenge you all's thinking. We want you all to leave encouraged, inspired, motivated, and more importantly, I really want you all to have an understanding of what you all hold inside of you, that you all can make change right here in the city of Detroit. So now that you all know who I am, I want you all to do me a favor. Can you do me one favor today? Can y'all do me a favor? I need you all to follow me on Instagram. All right, so how many of y'all can pull out your phones real quick? Y'all don't have y'all phones, right? Who got their phones with them? All right, come on real quick, Mary, because you all need to be connected to me so that you all know about all the great work that I'm doing. You all were able to see the video with Big Sean, right, earlier? That's called Occupy the Corner. We have another one coming this year in August, and Big Sean will be there. So if you follow me and stay up to date on the great work that we're doing in Detroit, I think it's important for you all to do so. And so I want you all to help me get engaged with young people, right? So help me by following me at Mary Sheffield, spread the word, and help me grow my following, okay? I'm gonna follow back. That's a good one, I like that. All right, y'all, so let's get this thing started. Y'all ready? All right. We're going to now introduce our moderator for today. Making his first appearance as a moderator, he is a two-time State of the Youth panelist. He is an author, a mentorship specialist. He knows what it means to turn a test into a testimony and a tragedy into triumph. He believes mentoring is a way of life, and he pushes his way towards a greater version of himself. Representing the D, give it up for Sean Blanchard. Hey. Go ahead, Sean. Hey. 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 All right, y'all, that's your moderator for today. Our next panelist is making her first appearance as a State of the Youth panelist. Her creative spirit in more ways than one has shaped her existence as an entrepreneur. Upon graduating from college and after searching for employment, she recognized the potential that lied in both offering what she wanted and hiring herself. She now uses her experience and expertise to help others, especially women, find their passion and excel in business. You prep, give it up for Megan Ward. Hey, I'm flawless. I'm flawless. Hey, I'm flawless. Hey. Hey, I woke up like that. Go ahead, Megan. All right, next up is a State of the Youth newcomer, but he is no stranger to the D. As a brand manager and A&R representative for a record label, he is responsible for taking celebrities to the next level. Some of the hip-hop industry's most talented artists depend on this brother coming to the stage. Give it up for J.D. Hey, 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 hey. Hey. Hey, hey, hey. What happened to y'all little G? You gonna have us right over there. All right, our next panelist is new to State of the Youth scene, and she is an income strategist, business coach, and preacher of truth. She coaches service-based business owners how to sell effectively, serve impeccably, and finally create consistent income so they can crush it online. She left the corporate world for freedom and to teach others the key to self-determination. Put your hands together for entrepreneur, coaching extraordinaire, Jerisha Hawk. Woo, woo. Hey, hey. Money, money, money. Hey, 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 hey. All right, appearing as a State of the Youth, appearing as a State of the Youth fourth consecutive time is a revolutionary devoted to the upliftment of his people in his community. He founded New Era Detroit, which is an organization formed to bring back urban unity in urban communities by empowering and encouraging African Americans to buy, build, invest, and get involved in the communities in which they live. He lives by the mantra, all power to the people. You put your fist in the air like this. Say, all power to the people. Give it up for New Era Detroit, Zeke. Hey. It's the gold mine. It's the gold mine. Put your fist up. Hey. Hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, New Era Detroit. All right, the next person to grace the stage is a first-time State of the Youth panelist as a motivational speaker and a minister at Triumph Church. They screaming. She has a passion for helping young people all over the world secure their spot in the kingdom of God. She is young, she is on fire for God, and she wants the whole world to know that you can live for God and still have fun. You give glory to God for the presence of Micaiah Keener. Hey, 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 hey. Hey! Hey! Go ahead, Micaiah. Woo! Yeah! All right, right, next up, making his second rare back-to-back State of the Youth appearance is someone who has always been a part of the team. He is inspiring the D in the nation through his contemporary and nostalgic designs. He started out as a business, but now he is a businessman. He is outfitting celebs across the globe with his starter jackets. You prep, give it up for my boy T. Mopkins. Hey, hey, hey. I said hi. You said T. Mopkins. They don't know. Yay. Y'all got to get hype for his phone now. He got it out. Yeah, show him how we do it in you prep. Yay. Yeah. All right. Next, coming to the stage is a State of the Youth newcomer, and it's proof that adversary can't hold a strong woman down. Detroit's queen of R&B trap music overcame an abusive childhood tragedy, and she made it into a career for herself, eventually being signed to a major label. Once a talented high school basketball player, she put down the rock, and now she is on the airwaves with smash hits with collabs with Big Sean. Show your girls some love. Go crazy, you prep, for Nisha Nashay. Hey, hey, hey. Hey. Woo! Get it, Nisha. Yay! All right, here to blow the spot up is a recording artist, songwriter, actor, entrepreneur, host, and CEO. He stepped into the spotlight at the age of 16 as one of the youngest talents coming from the city of Detroit by bringing together a group of individuals from across the city of Detroit. He's always been musically inclined, learning to play 5 instruments, and he uses his creative talents to perform and write his own music. You can hear his talent every single evening on Hot 107.5 Detroit. You prep, give it up for It's Me, Stu. Give it up, Stu. Hey. Hey. Get it, Stu. Get it, Stu. Get it, Stu. Get it, Stu. Hey. All right, our next panelist blessed us with a surprise this morning to join us. You can catch her every morning on Hot 107.5, The Morning Heat. Give it up for Miss Africa. Hey, hey. Hey. All right, and last but not least, here to shine a spotlight on the university prep as a first-time State of the Youth panelist, she is Detroit media royalty. She is an Emmy Award-winning journalist who, like her legendary mother, is an evening news anchor. Paving her own way as one of the best in the business, you can catch her every single night covering and representing the city of Detroit. University prep, give it up for Miss Glenda Lewis. Yeah, Glenda. Woo! Woo! Make sure you cut the yep, for him. Go ahead, Glenda. Go ahead, Glenda. Video. All right, y'all, give it up for the panelists. All right. right, we had one more person who could not be here today but wanted to bring greetings. And so we're going to play a quick video, and then we're going to turn over to Sean to begin our moderating of the panel.
Hey everybody, this is Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, and I'm really sorry that I couldn't make it to the State of the Youth Summit today, but I want to thank Councilwoman Sheffield for the invitation and thank all of you for gathering to have this very important conversation. As a young person who's in a position of leadership, I know how much it matters for our voices to be at the table, for us to be heard, respected, protected, and responded to. And that's what this summit is all about. People coming together to share ideas, to put forth programs and policies and solutions to the challenges that we face. Governor Whitmer and I are committed to making sure that the state of Michigan is inclusive of those ideas, and the ideas of all people, regardless of their race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or age. And we want to step up for you because we know that you're stepping up in your community every day. Keep standing tall for Michigan. Keep working hard. Keep striving. And your work will make sure that this city and this state is one where we can all not just survive, but thrive. Thank you for everything that you do, and I'm looking forward to doing it alongside you.
Give it up for the Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist.
All right. How we doing today, you prep? I said, how we doing today, you prep? Now, as we clapped in everybody that came in here, we got to make sure that we give it up for a very special group of people, and that's the people in these seats right here. Let's give it up for everybody from you prep. There we go, baby. We need that energy from you. So it's exciting to be here today. This is the 6th State of the Youth, and that means that we are in right here at the University of Prep, math and science with some of the smartest people in the city of Detroit. Do you hear me? Now, with that said right there, because you represent Detroit, let me hear that. Detroit! All right. Now, with that said, I'll tell you that today our panel, we're going to cover a number of topics today. We're going to cover education, entrepreneurship, hip-hop, violence, family, and a little bit more. So we're going to get some real good information from this rock star panel right here. And after we get this information, we're really going to get into a point where I want to get you guys able to ask some questions from our rock stars that we have over here representing Detroit as well. So as we answer the questions, I'm going to ask some questions, and you can go ahead and lift that hand, grab a microphone, and chime on in. We're going to go ahead and go from there. So we're going to start out just like this. Because we're in school and because education is so important, I want to make sure that we can start the ground running by asking this question to our panel. What role has education played getting you to the point to where you are today?
I got it. Education really, honestly, is, so I had a twofold situation, and it's very interesting for me. So when I was in high school, I was a star athlete, and I didn't take school that serious because I was getting scholarships from everywhere, and I just knew I was going to make it. So I ended up graduating from high school barely with a 1.6. Right, so I barely graduated. So, and the disappointment on my mother, I'm adopted. So I had a woman that sacrificed so much to take me in her house, and that moment, to see her face and them tears in her eyes, it did something to my spirit. So I ended up going to college. I ended up having to go to a junior college, and needless to say, I ended up going to a D1 university after that, and I graduated with a 3.6. So,
let's give it up. Let's give it up.
Yeah, and thank you. But the one thing I learned about that is that information is power. Knowledge is power. I was very ignorant in high school, and I thought I knew everything, but I didn't know anything. So once I was able to go to college and take advantage of things that it was taking my time anyway. It was consuming my time regardless. So I started to use it wisely, and I'm able to do anything I want to in this world because even though I'm out of school, I'm constantly learning and educating myself as a grown man. I still educate myself daily without a teacher, without anybody telling me to do it. I do it myself daily. So it's played a very big role.
Awesome. Let's get somebody else to answer that question too, because school is extremely important, and want to hear from you. What role did education play in the success of where you are right now?
Oh, yes. So what I wanted to say to you all is that the books are so important and education is so important. However, being able to learn is an education in itself, because you have to be able to, and they say learn from your mistakes, but pick up what you missed and adopt it. Keep your eyes and your ears open, and that's what's important in journalism, is you may not know how to approach somebody who's lost a loved one the first time around, But you have to feel out that situation, and you gain inside what just by observing. So as much as you study and put into your books, learn from what's around you and the people that you see and what you hear.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Glenda. All right.
Just to tap in on that as well, man. High school is very important. I went to high school and I graduated when I was around 16, and
Shout
I'm
out
the
to
first
Stu,
of my
graduated
family.
at 16.
Yeah.
Clap it up for him.
Thank you. I'm the first of my family to actually be born here in the United States, man. I come from a family that's predominantly from the Caribbean, Jamaica to be exact. And my mom was very strict, and she had a very already planned out agenda. She wanted me to be a nurse. And when I graduated from high school, I ended up trying to go into nursing, and I didn't really have a passion for it. I was kind of just doing it because my parents wanted me to do it. And I feel like it's really important for me to speak up about this because I feel like I wasted so much time going into something that I really didn't have a passion for, that I ended up actually dropping out of college. It feels like graduating at 16, it was a head start, but then I felt like I got pushed back again because I was just dropped out, and I really wanted to follow my dreams as far as being into communications, going into music, going into different things. But what I noticed was that when I was in meetings, when I was doing different things, that people with the education knew more than me, whether it be a contract, whether it be, anything that has to do with what you want to do. Your education can get you one step further. So I decided to go back to school. I graduated in 2010. I just graduated from college Saturday, y'all. And I was already working in my degree. I already had a job at the radio station. I already had so many different things, but it was just so important to me to finish because it really set me apart from everybody else. If someone is looking at your resume and looking at someone else's resume, no matter how much experience you have, no matter how much you've done, no matter how cool you are, no matter how good you might look, whatever the case may be, that degree is going to set you apart. I don't care if you want to be a rapper. I don't care if you want to be a doctor. I don't care if you want to be a lawyer. Whatever you want to do, you can find an avenue of education that's going to help you take it to the next level. So don't be afraid to go ahead and explore education. Don't be afraid. There's going to be a way for you to go out here and get it. I don't care if your grades aren't the best right now. Like JD said, he had to start at a junior college. Whatever you got to do, just get out there and do it, man, because you won't regret it.
That's awesome. Clap it up for Stu. So I want to make sure that we can keep these questions going. And one thing I want to ask you guys is school has curriculum. It's a number of things that people put before young people that they need to learn. What do you guys think should be put in school as curriculum?
I think there's a lot of things in schools that we miss out on. Self-love, learning how to receive love, how to eat right, what's really going on with the world.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
It's plenty of things, and me only being 22, the older I get, the more that I become more knowledge on, I realize it's a lot of stuff we missed out on that we have to learn ourselves, because they're not gonna get into detail about the certain things that we must know in order to get to our greatest points in life. So make sure that outside of school, when you go home, you're looking up what to eat, how to eat right, things that you need to know outside of the things they already teach you. Educate yourself, because you're not going to learn everything in school. It's always going to be up to you at the end of the day.
Awesome. Awesome.
And also, just to touch on that, speaking of curriculum, I just feel like this is the real world, and, we need to start educating the kids on real world things. Like, nobody taught me about my credit. Like, I didn't know nothing about taxes for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had to really get out here and do it on my own, you know what I'm saying? And when you don't have that information and you don't have a guide. Like, I didn't grow up with a guide of somebody showing me like, hey, listen, if you really take care of your credit, if you really do this, this, and that, you can be in a certain position that can, you know, in the long run, that's going to set you apart from everybody else. I feel like things like that, like just, you know, furthering what Nisha said as far as like your diet and the way you treat your body and, you know, all the real life things that you will have to really come into contact with as an adult. I feel like we need to, even if it's not full in depth, we definitely need to, you know, tap in and let the kids know, you know, the starting basis of different topics such as credit.
That's good.
Can I get a show of hands? Who in here has a cell phone? Just real quick for me. We all have access. You all have access to education, regardless of like what your upbringing was, who raised you, the level of information that they had available. Like my grandmother raised me. My mom left when I was 2 years old. My grandma is 86 now. Like, she's still an OG. Right? Like, grandmas are the best. But if you have access to Wi-Fi and a device, like, there really is no excuse. Because, I mean, you have to realize, like, y'all, we live in America, and we are being trained and taught to operate in a system for all of you. Like, we're trained to be employees. Who in here wants to be an entrepreneur? Own a business of some sort? Like, you have to realize the system that you're operating under. The system, the education system, like corporate, it's designed for you to be an employee. So I think something that's important is the system is trained for you to be an employee, but you have to also be able to think individually and be able to think outside of the box. Like, you are a business right now. Your job or wherever you currently work for just may be your biggest client. And like, you have to remember that at all times. Like, I echo everything they say up here, like learning self-love, learning how to receive love, learning how to give healthy love, learning how to distinguish between what is healthy and what's abusive and what your boundaries are. But if you have an iPhone or a device, I'm not gonna hate on nobody in here with an Android. I'm Blue Bubble all day. But just like you guys have access, like just as much as you'll Google a YouTube video for, you know, the new Cardi B song, like YouTube, all these things that you're thinking about, credit, wealth, investing, what it means. I think another thing that's really important is for you to understand the value that you bring to the table. A lot of the time, your company, your job says because you have this, that's how much that's worth being paid. And a lot of the time, we just take what we're given. We don't negotiate. We don't ask any further questions. And it's really important for you to understand the true value that you bring to the table, not what you're worth, because your worth is infinite. Like, your worth is a birthright.
Agreed.
But understanding your value that you bring to the table and how that articulates into a dollar amount, that's something that's crucial for you guys to understand.
Absolutely. We're going to switch gears here so we can ask another question. I want to make sure that we can hit on this one here. I want to speak about what's your take on what happened to Nipsey Hussle and the nationwide response. And on this one, I'm actually going to start out with JD.
This one is a tough one for me, especially because I'm from the hood, you know. So seeing somebody that we're in an era where the music is very interesting to me. It's a lot of talk about pills and drugs and B words and H words, and I see the young women, young dudes kind of celebrating this music. So Nipsey was a light to me. I've been listening to Nipsey for like 5-6 years. This wasn't a new thing. And the one thing that he spoke the most about was just about us. Everything he said, it was like church to me in a sense. Everything was educational, you know. So to see a man that really was about building the community, uplifting everybody, not just black people, everybody, uplifting everybody, and to get killed by somebody of his own kind in front of his own business, it's a sign of what can happen. So the one thing I tell everybody, I work with celebrities across the country, and the one thing that I'm big on is you have to be careful about what situations you put yourself in. So if you know that you're that valuable, like, you should always hire security with you. You should always hire somebody to hire your back, because everybody can love you, but it only take one person to hate you. It only take one person. I don't care how many people in here love you. If one person hates you, it could mess up everything. So you got to be conscious about what situations and what he was doing. He was in front. Nobody would have ever thought that happened right there. He was in front of his own business, chilling. But it was that one person that just hated him, and he had nothing to lose. The man just got out of prison. He had nothing to lose, and he took a king away from us. So we have to start uplifting each other, man, and just start making sure that we're very conscious of who is around us, who is in our circle. So that's my take on it.
Let's bounce that question around a bit, and I'm gonna go over to Glenda because I want to get your perspective from the media perspective.
Sure.
How do you think the media handled what happened in Nipsey?
Well, I will say, that we handled it in this day and age, and especially Los Angeles media, I mean, the way you would. You swarm it, you stay on it, you talk about it. But I wanted to say to you in the audience, please, don't be that jealous, and don't be that hateful. There's not even enough room in your life now to have that inside of you. Back to what Jerisha was saying about being your own brand. I mean, it begins now. When you're on those phones and when you're, looking at yourself and this is how you establish who you are to the world, who anybody wants to see it. So your building blocks of what adult you'll be, of how you're presenting yourself in the world, it begins now. And on Nipsey, we had a talk amongst the African American reporters and leaders in our newsroom. And part of that debate was, should he have even been still in the hood, being who he is and helping? But that was who he was, helping and being in touch with his community and staying there. But, one of the young sisters said to me, well, you got to recognize who you are. You can help from afar. You can help. So this was the debate that we talked about as to whether he shouldn't have even been in the same company. And that's going to be a decision that you make individually every single day, is when you are gaining that knowledge and you do gain some momentum to help out your community, the company that you keep, it can change. And that doesn't mean that you change, because you can still help and you can still do, but there was a line there, and because of his heart and his passion, he walked it.
That's right. You know what? So I want you to jump in, brother. I know you had your hand up over there. Now, one thing I want to do is just really hit on that concept of keeping it real, right?
Right.
Go ahead and jump on in there so we can hear from you.
First of all, let me greet y'all by saying, what up, though? Now I'm going to say hello to be the professional people. Hello. I had the honor and the privilege to meet Nipsey a couple of times just by doing what I'm doing. I'm in the fashion industry. I create stuff for brands like Puma. And I met him one time in Boston at the Puma headquarters, and we just had a brief conversation, and his energy was just so impactful that I want y'all to understand this. It's a Nipsey here in Detroit that I want you guys to support and honor before. The one thing I want to say is this: it shouldn't take anyone to get killed for you to recognize the good that they're doing. There's so many people here that do a lot of stuff here in Detroit that's cut from that Nipsey Hussle cloth. And the one thing that he was inspiring to me about was, man, you got a voice, your brother got a voice, he got a voice. Let's all have these voices in unison. So one thing I give props to is my man Zeke. Zeke, to me, is the Nipsey of our generation here in the city of Detroit. And if y'all don't know who Zeke is, I think y'all should get to know him, because he the type of person, when it get real for you and people run away from you, he gonna run towards you and help you and lift you up. So I don't want something to happen where one of us get killed where you gotta recognize us. No, give us our flowers while you can smell them today. And that's what I just want to give props to Zeke.
That's good. That's good. With that said, you know what? I want to bounce that question right over to you, Zeke. If you could go ahead and share some words with us.
Yeah, how everybody doing out there? All power to each and every last one of y'all. I do want to speak on Nipsey, and as the sister said, they had a conversation in the newsroom, should he have even been in his community. To me, for that to even be a conversation is insane to me, because we come from the same hoods. We come from the same struggle, and one of the biggest problems with successful black people is that as soon as they get successful, they move up out the hood. They feel like they better than you. You know, they stuff don't stink no more. So when people stay in their communities and do for people in their communities, you gotta value that. Just like Ty said, off top, it shouldn't have took for this brother to pass for people to see all the great things that he was doing in his community. I mean, the brother owned blocks. You feel me? Like, we talking about ownership. He wasn't renting, and that's something else we need to be conscious of, is ownership. I didn't get a chance to answer the school question either. I just wanted to kind of tie that back in with education as well, because we are not learning enough inside of our schools. there needs to be a real serious look at curriculums inside of our schools, and especially in black communities. We need to know about credit. We need to know about finances. We need to know about ownership. And some of these things were the things that Nipsey stood for, and people like stood for. And not just us here in this, me sitting here in New Era, Detroit. It's this panel. You feel me? This panel is a Nipsey Hussle panel. You feel me? It's people that really care about y'all, who care about the community, who not gonna go nowhere. And that's what we are. We not going nowhere. We building our community every single week. We in the hood, we building, we shaking hands, we building with the community. We figuring out what the people want so that we can organize better. Life is about organization. It don't matter what you do in life. As long as you plan and you organize and you take the proper steps, you will see success. And keep good people around you. You feel me? It's too many snakes out here. Take your life serious. You feel me? If somebody giving you a bad vibe, if you see somebody that be sneak dissing, keep them people away. It ain't no room for that. You gotta value your life better than that. So what I'm telling to y'all is treat every single day as if it's precious, and only keep good energy around you. Bad energy gotta hit the door.
That's good. That's good. Give it up.
I just wanted to respond.
Right
I just wanted to respond briefly to you, brother, because I feel you, and you referenced our conversation in the newsroom, and I don't want to leave the impression that you grow up, you move on, and you think you're better than somebody. That's not the point of why we're sitting here. It's okay if you gain education and you gain knowledge and you feel like you've matured past a certain point. That's okay. I'm not talking about where you physically live or whatever, but there's times where you may have that one friend. We all have that one friend that's still doing the same thing that they've been doing since they were 7. It's okay if you have grown beyond that mentally and spiritually. It doesn't mean you don't have to be their friend anymore, but it means it's okay to mature and gain knowledge and to grow.
That's good. So now, one thing I want to do, you got to go ahead and respond to. I see you down there. Were you reaching? Go right ahead.
Yeah. Shout out to Nipsey, but also, how many of you know someone who has been shot or killed? Right. Right. So 6 years ago, my brother was shot and killed. That's what concerns me more than anything, is you guys, our community, and us hurting each other. And it goes back also to what Nisha was saying about self-love and loving yourself and learning how to love. So that's my concern is you guys, and you guys can stop that. It can end here with you.
That's
right,
good.
peace.
You know what? I want to get real practical right here. Give it up. Clap it up. Now, I want to get real practical because a lot of times we can glaze over the questions, and I heard something said quite a few times about the people that you keep in your circle, making sure that, it's no sneak dissing, like you got to kind of really watch the people around you. How do you guys actually do that? So from the people that you have in your circle, I'm going to come to you, Megan. We're going to start with you. How do you make sure that you monitor the people around you, be it good, bad, and go from there?
My circle is consisted of some of the most powerful women in Detroit, and I come from really humble backgrounds. So a lot of people look at me, and from the outside they say, oh, you're not the stereotypical Detroiter, but half of my family are drug dealers. I experienced a domestic violence dispute my last year of high school and had to pack up, had to leave in garbage bags. And my mom was like, come on, let's go. She's a single mom. And so I left and really had to start life over. Started life without family, right? So it was just me and my mom. And over the course of the year, started college and curated who I wanted to be in my life, and really surrounded myself with people who not only supported me where I was during that time, but supported my future self. So like you guys said, like the haters had to go, so now you won't even, that energy, it's not valid in my life right now. But what I think is important in a circle is that people who are rooting for you authentically, it's okay if they can be family, they cannot be family, most of the people, literally, you guys, my family, they'll have a free my bro party of someone getting out of jail, but if someone's graduating college, no one will go. And it's absolutely insane. And so I had to realize that I had to build my support team. And if that looked like blood or not, I had to be open to that, and I had to be open to healing in that journey.
Wow. Clap it up. I want to keep this question going because I want some real practical, and I see your hand right there too. And so I'm going to come right on over to you. Go ahead.
So yeah, just to piggyback off of what she said, I think that, you know, the company that you keep is everything. At first I didn't understand it, you know, when I was younger, but my mom used to always tell me that the birds of a feather flock together. And that makes so much sense today. I believe that if you hang around 4 broke people, you'll be that 5th one. But if you hang around 4 millionaires, you'll be that 5th millionaire. And so it's just really important to, you know, watch and value the company that you keep. It's important to, you know, make sure that you monitor your circle, you know, your inner circle. Many of you are in a place right now where you're learning yourself, you're learning a lot about yourself, and you're learning about yourself through your friendships, your relationships, and your peers. And so it's just so important to make sure that you have nothing but positive vibes in your space. I think that sometimes, you know, people, they come into our lives and they are nothing but distractions. And so we just have to learn how to get rid of the distractions so that we can have tunnel vision to focus on our goals. I'm a preacher. When I first went into ministry, a lot of my friends, cussing, drinking, smoking, everything, you name it. I had to make a decision not to cut them off, but to love them from a distance. That doesn't mean that, you know, I don't like them anymore and I don't rock with them anymore, but what it does mean is,
there we go.
Thank you. What it does mean is,
that's good.
I have somewhere to go, and sometimes the higher you go, the less people are gonna be there with you. You know what I mean? So a lot of you all are hanging around with people right now, and I'm just gonna say it, you won't even know them after you graduate. You won't even know them after next year, and guess what? That's okay. So new levels, new people, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's good. That's
You
good.
know what?
I see your hand over there, Jay. We're coming over to you, Stewie. I see you.
I'm just a very strong believer of doing it for your future and never your feelings. It's so many times, often, like we want to see the best in people, but like when somebody show you who they are the first believe them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta believe them, and pay close attention to what people say when they get mad at you, because they've been waiting all year to say it. You gotta understand, y'all, it's okay to let go. It's okay to let go of certain relationships. It's okay to level up. It's okay to mature. It's okay. It's okay. You gotta understand that.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? That's gonna get you to where you need to go. So don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid of letting go, and don't be afraid of leveling up.
Yes, good. We're going to come over to Ty, and then we're actually going to get some questions from the audience. Ty,
Any
go ahead.
questions from the audience members, from the U-Prep students? Any hands up for questions?
Before we do that, I want to say one thing. The age group here is what?
Just raise your hand. I'm sorry, Ty. Just raise your hand while Ty is talking.
Okay, so the age group here is what, 15, 16? So, okay. So this is the most crucial time right now, because in this, I'm not saying in this room or in this school, but this is the era where the most gossip start, the most rumors start, and then what seems to be happening is that what happens here automatically goes to here. So now you got a lot of things going around in your circle and all that stuff. So by me, once again, being the business that I am, I got a lot of people that's attracted to me now. Now all of a sudden I'm fam, I'm bro, I'm cuz, I'm cuzzo, I'm all that stuff now. So I just want y'all to know this, that once again, you just got to pay attention to what you're doing, and it's okay to be solo dolo. Trust me, you get more accomplished than that, then you can go back and you can come back and get the real that was down with you. But I just want y'all to peep that. The most overrated word in this world, the most overrated phrase is fam, bro, cuz, cuzzo. I just want y'all to know that's all that's overrated. Watch who you around. Pay attention.
That's good. Let's get some questions from the audience. Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
How y'all doing? My name's Taryn. Quick question. So for I know you work with shoes, Ty, that seems to be like a gated community. As an entrepreneur, right. How did you get yourself in that position?
Well, I've always been a passion for doing this ever since I was a kid, because I grew up I know everybody got the same story. We all grew up from humble beginnings. No, I grew up from very humble beginnings where you got 2 pair of shoes a year. You got play shoes, you got school shoes. And you had to take your school shoes off as soon as you come home, tuck the laces in, put them back in the box, and go play in your school shoes. So I always had a passion for sneakers. And the way we did things was, it's like I come from an era of hand-me-downs, and I'm not ashamed of that because that made me who I was. That just fueled my fire to, I go from getting hand-me-downs to creating shoes with major companies, with Fila, with Adidas. I got something coming up in June with Nike, with Puma. I did all this. And the reason why I'm so passionate about it and I do it, because I come from the inner city. I come from, nobody knew what I was. I'm a mixed kid. My dad's black, my mom's white. So all my life I had to prove myself on what I was and not trying to be a wannabe or nobody knew who I was. So I preach this all the time. Everywhere I go, you see me in my D hat, whether it's in California, whether it's in New York, wherever it go. And I'm sitting here in meetings with, like I said, I was blessed enough to meet Nipsey, with the Big Seans, with everybody, and helping them fulfill their dreams and making their sneakers and all that too. But the most important thing I wanted to let everybody know is that you can come from the inner city, Detroit, and make it out here in this world. It's so much of a target on us saying what we can't do, but we're going to show them what we can do.
That's good. Clap it up.
Yeah, I feel like with that gated community, because I know he tapped in saying, you know, gated community, how did you get in that community? It's so many different industries. It's not just the shoe industry, it's the music industry, it's the radio industry, it's whatever industry has a certain value. They're not letting everybody in. The thing I'm telling you is don't let nobody tell you no. You know what I'm saying? There is no no. You know what I'm saying? A no is just another means for trying again. You know what I'm saying? And again after that. Before I even saw $1 from the radio station, I was going up to the radio station for 3 years. I was showing up at every broadcast. I was showing up at every event they had. I even made up a fake campaign for people to call the radio station and say that they wanted me to be on radio station on Hot 107.5 as the new radio personality, to the point where they had no choice but to know who I was.
That's good.
It was people calling, talking about I just wanted to call in and vote for Stu Op. They like, who is Stu Op? Who is Stu? You know what I'm saying? So they had to find out who I was just because I created the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? No one is going to give you anything in this world. It's all for the taking. So as far as like getting in the community, the gated community, bust the lock.
That's good. That's good.
And that's the one thing you got to do too.
That's
the one thing I want you to remember too. It's okay to create your own lane, because the lane you may want to go down is 5 people doing the same thing you're doing. You got to sometimes create your own lane. What I was blessed to do just this past January, we did a shoe with Adidas. They came in and brought a multi-million-dollar corporation in here and did something off the city of Detroit. And the first person I had in mind to be that I wanted to share that spotlight with, not be the face. I could have been greedy and did everything myself, but I know it's bigger than me when I want to put this city on. First person I reached out was my man Stu Op, because I know he is the face of the new Detroit and y'all kids and all that too. And I just want y'all to know, I'm gonna keep preaching it, man. Y'all can come from Detroit and be something. Don't let nobody tell you can't. Trust me, you can.
Thank you, thank you. We got a question right on over here from a young lady.
Hi, my name is Lauren, and my question is for Zeke. Would you be open to somebody starting a youth sector of New Era Detroit? My father actually does work with you in the community, and I've been wanting to start. I've been wanting to help you with that for a long time.
Oh, that's special. That's real special.
Clap it up.
I'm humble with that question, and absolutely, you know, we have a Building Young Kings or Elite Young Kings program and Elite Young Queens program as well. So before we leave, let's make that happen. I don't talk. You feel me? So we gonna make that happen before we leave. And also, I just kind of wanted to tap in with that too, because when I started back in 2014, people was looking at me like I was crazy talking about cleaning the community. It wasn't the cool thing to do, right? Like, being a community person wasn't cool when I first came into the game. People was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Even when you think about community work or community service, it's always utilized as something bad. You know, if you get in trouble, you got to do community service. You come home, you go to jail, you come back, you got to do community service. So the stigma in our mindset is already doing something for our community is punishment. So people looked at us when we first started. It wasn't no fist going up in the air. People wasn't talking about black power and feeling proud to be black and kings and queens. People was not talking about this in 2014. And we had to really prove to the community, prove to ourselves, and especially the youth, because y'all are who we do it for, that this is the new wave. So we had to jump in front of the wave. People didn't believe that we'll be able to do this in Detroit. Now we in 7 different chapters. We in 7 different cities. We in Chicago. We in Atlanta. We in Cleveland. We in Birmingham. We out in the DMV. We in Miami. We just opening up in Vegas. We opening up in Jackson, Mississippi. So our goal is to be in every black community around the country and to get people to understand that we have to value our communities if we're going to elevate anything, because the problem is everybody's so focused on their household. Everybody keep wanting beautiful flowers to grow out of dirt and gravel. You feel me? Well, my kids is taken care of. My household is taken care of. Your kids gonna go outside, go down the street, and socialize with the kids who not taken care of. So if we not taking care of our community, you are not taking care of your household. So at the end of the day, it's all about community. If we want to see us elevate all together so we can quiet down the haters and quiet down the jealousy and quiet down the envy, we all got to be tapped in. So we all got a job to do in our communities, and let's get to it.
All right. Hey, Sean.
We got another question.
One more
back
question,
here.
then we're going to turn it back over to you.
Okay.
My name is William Jackson. I got a question for Micaiah.
For me? For me? Okay.
Micaiah.
Hi, Will. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
What would you say to the young black male that's going through problems in their communities?
I'm sorry, before you answer, it's going to be a double question for you.
Okay.
I say, well, what would you say to the young black males that's going through problems in their communities?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I got it. My name's Taylor.
Hi.
And how do you like be a Christian and like still have fun from the side?
Yep. 2 great questions. Two great questions. So to answer the first question for Will, I think that you all should have a mentor. I think that every young man should have a leader or a mentor that they can vent to and confide in. My opinion is limited, my view is limited because I'm a woman, so I don't know all of the struggles that you all face. But what I do know, and I know that I can speak for most of the men in this room when I say that you all are not as vulnerable or as emotional as women. So I think that a lot of men walk around with the weight of the world on their shoulders, and they feel like they have to be tough and they have to be so strong and they have to be so courageous because they're a man. And so they feel like, because they're a man, they can't let others see them break down and see them cry. But just because you're a man, that does not mean that you're not a human. Humans have emotions, humans have struggles. And so one thing that I would say is understand that it's okay to have a breakdown and it's okay to take a break. I think that every man needs to hear that. It's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to take off all the hats. It's okay. And it's okay to let loose sometimes. I think that that's the number one thing that it's important to understand. And like I said, I think that you all should have a male mentor, someone that you can confide in, someone that you can vent to, and someone that can guide you through life. Because I think that it's very hard, not only being male, but being black. That's 2 things that are very hard to do in today's society. And I think that you all need some leadership and some guidance. To answer the second question, how to be a Christian and still have fun. When I first went into ministry, I thought that my life was over. I thought I couldn't do anything anymore. I thought that that it was just over for me. And that's not the truth. I still live a very fun life. And one thing that I have learned is that you do not have to sin to have fun. So I don't have to be high off of a blunt or drunk off of some Hennessy in order to have a good time. I can go out with my friends and be sober and have the most fun out of everybody in the group. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And so I think that it's okay to understand that, just because you're a Christian and just because you love God and just because you advocate for Jesus, that does not mean that you cannot still go out to the parties, go out to the games, go out to the concerts. I was at the Lil Baby concert. Who gonna say what? I'm having me a good time, period. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah.
So she just told y'all, so y'all know Jesus had fun too, okay? So now, what I want to do, I want to make sure we can open up the floor here because one of our young people started asking questions around entrepreneurship, and I want to make sure that all of you guys know that you don't have to wait to begin. So they're going to start answering some questions for you, starting with this one right here. What do you guys think are some barriers in the black community with entrepreneurship? All right.
Resources. I mean, I'm going to be real short with this one because I know that other people want, but resources is a big thing. And we just talked about things, you know, even in terms of curriculums here in the schools. You know, entrepreneurship should be at the head of the class. This is not 1950. You know, this is 2019, that we living in a whole nother wave. You can be your own boss from your phone, you know, but it has to be taught. We have to take time and put time into some of the things that we do in school. You in school, how many hours a day are y'all in school? 8 hours a day in school. You feel me? We have to do better. We have to do better in valuing these times in school and teaching entrepreneurs, because the majority of you in this room will be entrepreneurs. This just the new wave. Y'all not gonna be working at factories and, you know, going to work, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a job, but we live in a world now to where your mind, you know, our mind in the endlessness of what can be is just there with technology. So, you know, I feel like resources is a huge issue in regards to ownership. You know, we just need to tighten up on that as a community and offer more resources.
And so, not only, I'm sorry.
Now, I want to say, I want all you guys to know that by 2020, it said that half of the workforce is going to be working remotely, meaning not at the actual office. So let's keep that in mind, too. We're coming right back to you. Go right ahead.
I think that support is a big key factor. I think that, you know, us as a black community, we just have to learn how to support each other more. And here's the thing, if your friend has a product, maybe you don't have money to buy that product. You don't have to have money to support your friend. You can post their stuff on your Instagram page. That's support right there. Adding their post to your story. That's support right there. And I just think that we have to, you know what I'm saying, understand that a win for them is a win for you. You know what I'm saying? So you honor them while they're winning in their winning season, and understand that, you know what I'm saying, it's okay to support other people. I think that us as a community, we don't support each other enough. I think that sometimes we think that them winning means us losing. That's not the case. It's room for everybody in here to win. It's a million hair businesses out here. Start one. If that's what you want to do, do it. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. And another thing, if other people don't support you, support yourself. Keep going. Don't worry about praise. Don't worry about likes. Don't worry about followers. You support you and let your success make the noise.
Let's go,
I think
Ty.
one thing that's important for business is, like, Google the definition of business. The business, like, if you're creating a business, you're creating a product or service that solves a problem that people are willing to pay for. And I think a lot of the time I run my business outside of my living room. I'm typically in athleisure, Lululemon, yoga pants. Like, my business is run, my livelihood is run off of my phone and off of my computer from in my house. But I think the thing that's important is you saying, I want to start a t-shirt line, or I want to, you know, sell hair, or I want to, I don't know, whatever, become a barber. Like, that's a service, like, that's the product, but what problem are you actually solving? And you need to be able to articulate that. But I think back to your point, like, of online, like, if you have a phone, like, my first business I started, I was in college, and my grandmother sent me to school. I put myself through school. But my senior year of school, I ran out of financial aid. Didn't know that was really possible, but government was like, you're done with funds. And I was sitting there on a Sunday night saying, what can I do to come up with $14,000 so I can graduate with my degree? And I started my very first online clothing business off of my phone and off of Instagram. I had no resources, I had no network, I had no capital. I didn't have a rich uncle or auntie I could call and be like, give me some funding. I went on Google, how do I start an online business? Like, the resources and the support, like, so much is, I think in business, is your ability to take an idea. Selling an idea isn't enough. There's a ton of amazing ideas in this room. They are not all amazing business ideas. So you have to be able to articulate your idea into what is the business model. And for anybody who wants to start a business, please think about what your revenue stream will be. How will you generate cash flow from this idea? Too many people are just starting ideas, not like, I'm just need support. Y'all not thinking about money. Like, your business is not a nonprofit. If you want to give back to the community, which I'm all for, make money and use the profit from your business to give back to your community. But you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't support from an empty cup.
That's right. Let's come back over, go right back over to Ty. I saw you had your hand up too.
I think one of the most important things that you guys need to realize, show of hands again, how many people want to be entrepreneurs? Do you really know why you want to be an entrepreneur? Are you really passionate about it? Are you willing to go broke for it? Are you willing to sacrifice a lot of things for us? I don't want y'all to get fooled by social media and what everybody else is doing and all that stuff, because when you first started going, my personal testimony is this: I've lost more than I win, but the people seem to gravitate more to the wins than the losses, but I really don't call them losses, I call them lessons, because all this stuff has taught me how to be the powerhouse that I am today, but it just didn't happen overnight. Just know that just because you say you want to start a business, that it's not going to work right overnight. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of schooling that you need too. Like, you need to know about numbers. You need to know about fractions. You need to know about how to do a PowerPoint presentation. And how many people want to be hairstylists? So what's going to make you different than the next person? You got to learn how to market yourself. How many people want to be barbers? How many people want to be nail techs? What I would like to see in my city, in Detroit, in my community, I would like to see more people open up a necessity of what we need, like food banks, like supermarkets, like drugstores, like service stations, that we go in your community and we come in the community and we see other people own stuff except us. So we got to turn that around too. And I just want you guys to know that I'm not telling you don't do it. I'm just telling you that it's long and it's hard and it's sleepless nights, but the reward is very worth it. So I just want you guys to don't get discouraged about the L's, because they're going to come with it. Nobody bats 1,000 in business. I'm telling you that right now. Some people, I fell on my butt at least 4 times already to get to where I am now. And it's an old saying that Jay-Z said in one of his raps, I'm still trying to overcharge what they did to Cold Crush. Well, I'm still trying to overcharge this industry for what they did with Hip Hop University when I started in 2000. So I just want y'all to keep your head up, stay focused, and know why you really want to do this.
That's good. We're going to come over to Megan, then we're coming to Stewie.
So you guys, Jerisha and I, it's been almost a decade. We started our businesses in college, and I used to go into Jerisha's apartment, and she had online clothing store, and she used to have racks of inventory. But we were young and we were getting it. You know, we had to find a way. And so I got into entrepreneurship because my mom's house was going into foreclosure, and she couldn't find a job. And so that was when Detroit literally there were no jobs. And so I was kind of pushed into entrepreneurship because we didn't want to be homeless, right? So I was like, okay, you know, making $7, $8 an hour wasn't cutting it for 20 hours a week that I had available. So I said, okay, what am I great at? So start thinking of your skill sets and what you're great at. Literally, while everyone was at the club, I was on YouTube teaching myself how to code, right? And so taught myself how to code, literally secured a $2,000 a month contract with a local business that got my mom's house out of foreclosure, and I put myself through school.
Clap that one up.
So do not you can literally teach yourself anything offline.
We're coming right over to you, Stewie.
Just to I love everybody's points. I feel like everybody's making great, valid points. When I started my first business, it was an entertainment business, and I was just getting out of high school. I was 16, and a lot of my friends were falling into the drug game. I was dibbling and dabbling in the drug game, finding out it wasn't really for me like that, and I really went into, I loved to party as a kid, loved to party. And I was like, you know what? I can make money off this. So I went, lied about my age, rented a hall. It was supposed to be 18. I was 16, signed the lease on the hall. I did a lot of lying. But I went and signed the lease on the hall. It held 200 people. I put together this flyer, invited all my friends, went really hard. And it didn't feel like work to me. It just felt fun because I just loved doing it. I loved the party. I was excited for everybody to come through. And I was 16. I had the party. It ended up being like 500 kids showing up. And at the end of the night, I was sitting there, 16, counting $7,000, just sitting there just geeked, You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that whatever you like to do, you can turn that into a business. And I love everybody's points, but I think one of the biggest points in business is personality, your brand. Glenda Lewis was saying it a little bit earlier. It starts now. It starts with the selfies. It starts with the, you know what I'm saying, building the way you dress, the way you're presenting yourself. Like, all that stuff starts now. If it's 2 hot dog stands and they're selling the same exact hot dog, right? But this hot dog stands, every time you come, they know your name. They're asking you how you are. They're cleaner. They're put together a little bit better. This hot dog stand, they're dirty. They're not really saying nothing. They like, hey, ketchup and mustard over there. Which hot dog stand, at the same price, which hot dog stand are you going to?
So
the first one. So you have to build that brand now. Be the hot dog stand. Be the people that greet. I said be the hot dog stand. Be the people that greet people, that make them feel that you're so appreciative of them. If you have a business, you're starting something, let people know, thank you. I appreciate you for shopping with me. I appreciate you for working with me. You have to set those traits up now.
That's good. That's good. Gratitude goes a long way. I want to make sure I can come on over to, I believe that's Africa with their hand.
Yes.
And one thing I want to say, I want to get to the point where we answer the questions in about 30 seconds because I want to ask you guys more questions and get more of your answers. Okay.
I definitely want to go back to the support issue when it comes to being an entrepreneur, because we have to support ourselves too, right? The Asian dollar stays in their community 28 days. The white dollar stays in their community 17 days. How much time do you think, black community? How long?
A few hours.
It's 6 hours.
Wow.
6 hours. So, listen, I'm not telling you, you can't buy Gucci. Well, maybe not Gucci. But I'm not telling you can't buy like name brands, but when your friend has a business, a clothing business or something, like support. Support. We have to support each other. Shout out to Zeke again for that. All right.
All right. We're coming up to you, Glenda.
Thank you, Sean. This gentleman talked about, well, how do I get in? And you said, bust the lock off. And by doing that, touching back on what he said, is your impression. And that goes back to education because you are creating it right now. You can look you up right now and see the kind of person that you are. So that's something you always have to think about. But when you are well-read, or you've caught up on something, or you can say to somebody, if somebody walks up to you like this, hey, what's up? Versus somebody who turns around and looks at you and says, hello, there's a difference right away. And that's what gets you through the door. That's the extra, who you are on the inside. You got to bring that out. And then with education, that enhances that. And I wanted to go back to the support because contrary to, and the sacrifice to what your impression may be, when I started this business, I've had a mother that was a legend, right? That's very hard. Those are huge shoes to fill. And I went all the way up to Alpena, making $5.35 an hour, living in HUD housing, driving back every weekend, crying every time I have to go. God bless my mother who rode up with me every Sunday and drove herself back Monday and then went and worked Monday night football. But from there, I had a lot of people side-eye me. I had a lot of people tell me no. And you would think that when you had, and this goes back to the African American community as well, when you have somebody who has a door that can open it for you, because we see the races and the religions that keep within their own. And you get to each level. I'm 4 stations and 23 years in this business now. And every step of the way, it was hard for me. They made it harder for me because my mother was who they didn't say, oh, hey, Glenda. They were like, let's see if she can do this. And tried to make me feel any other way about myself than the professional that I was growing to be. I would go home after 11 o'clock at night crying, headaches, tears. Why did I have to do 3 things? And this guy who doesn't do anything only did 1. The hills to jump, the hoops were bigger, the hills were higher. But if you don't lose sight of who you are, and there were times I came close. I thank God I've got the soulful parents that I have and the support. All you need, have many, trust few, always paddle your own canoe.
There we go.
All you need is a few.
So I'm going to tell you guys, this is what we're going to do now.
And I don't want to take up too much time, but
Don't let anyone break your spirit. Your inner strength is what will take you there.
Clap that up, clap it up. This is what we're gonna do, guys, because I wanna make sure that I love the direction where the responses are going, because they're going beyond practical, and I wanna get beyond, the high level and into the practical mud. A lot of times young people can see successful people and they kind of look like Instagram. It's just a highlight reel. All you see is what they did right? They're batting at 1,000 like Ty said, right? But I want to know from you guys, everybody is up here is successful in their own right, but I want to know from you, tell us where you started to get to where you are, okay? So tell us where you started. Remember, we got 30 seconds. I want to make sure you can know where they started so you guys can know where you can start to get to that successful level.
Well, I started from the west side of Detroit, Grand River and Livernois. Grew up on Focus Hope. Used to bus food stamps just to get bus fare to go to school. I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to live in a house with no lights. I know what it's like to live in a house with no water. I know what it's like. And I want you guys to know that a lot of challenges you guys are going through right now, I've been through it too. So I can relate to 95% of you guys here in this room. So that's where I started at. Where I'm at now, currently getting a house built from the ground up. I'm currently opening up new businesses. I'm currently buying brand new cars. And all this was coming from a kid from the west side of Detroit, Grand River and Livernois. So back in the day, we would say things like flat out, but I think you kids y'all say period. So I just want you to know that, once again, I'm gonna preach this. I was born here, raised here, I'm gonna be buried here. I love Detroit, and you can't come from Detroit and make it, period.
Now, and I want to be more specific.
Okay.
I want you guys to tell me where you started on your entrepreneurial journey to get to where you are, okay?
I'll go quick. I started from a store on West 7 Mile called Strictly Sportswear. They gave me my start. I owe them for life. I always try my best to help and give back to them any way I can. So that's why I started at, on the small corner of 7 Mile and Archdale, Strictly Sportswear.
That's good. So now I'm gonna make this more specific again, because I like that. I want you to tell me where you started like he did and where you are now so that they can connect the dot, okay? All right, we're gonna come over to you, JD.
On my end, I was the street team guy. I was the guy that was putting flyers, passing out flyers, putting up posters on the all the poles all across the city, doing the stuff, the dirty work nobody else wanted to do. But it's crazy what everybody say. I did it with a smile on my face. I love to do it because I love music. So I was the guy doing that, and I wasn't getting paid $1. I was hanging up with the posters. We had the billboards. I was doing all that, so I was like the person behind the scenes. I'm doing all the work. Now I'm the A&R in the city, so a lot of the artists that you see signed out of Detroit, I got them a deal. A lot of the people that, your Young Dosh, your Tigers, all them, they signed to the label I work for. So we just had Mario the other day, so the first thing I did, me and Ty went to the same high school. That's my brother, so as soon as Mario came in the city, first thing we did was we went to Mr. Allen's and we shot with Ty, and Ty showed us love. So I went from being an intern and somebody who was just doing stuff because I love it to one of the top A&Rs in the country right now.
Clap it up.
Let's get it.
All right, respect. Jerisha, I'm coming over to you.
So the business I have now started when I was working in corporate. So I think a lot of people not corporate, like I don't want a job. I learned so much of the basic foundation that allowed me to be successful in entrepreneurship from the job that I had. So I was working in the utility. I was a pipeline engineer running a $400 million pipeline project at the time, and was discouraged because I was always the only woman of color, the youngest person in the room. And I'm like, there's more people here besides just me being the token one that has value that can bring to the table. What can I do to start to kind of uncover what those unique barriers are and help other people create access? But Facebook is where my beginning started, doing live stream video on Facebook, consistently showing up every single day when nobody was watching, when nobody was liking, when nobody was commenting. Did that for about maybe 10 months. And that's when I really started to understand what my business model is, what my revenue streams are, how to actually sell the skill sets that I had and actually generate revenue. And then probably about 18 months into the business, I quit my full-time job as an engineer because I had replaced my salary working online. It would have taken me easily, I don't know if I ever would make the amount of money that I make now in a corporation, even as a vice president, maybe as a CEO. But the business that I have now does $400,000 a year, work from my laptop because of Facebook, because of Instagram, because I created my own curriculum. And that's what I sell now for other people to help them launch and start their own consulting businesses. So.
And you know what? I'm going to add this one in there for you too, Jerisha. Jerisha not only quit her job, but then she brought her old job on as a client.
I forgot about
Right?
that part.
Clap it up. Clap it up. That's awesome.
Wow.
All right.
And
So-
I think that goes back to like asking for what you want. Just because you've never seen it done before doesn't mean that it's not available to you. It's like, as Sean was saying, when I quit my job, they were like, what do you want to stay? And I'm like, well, if I got to work with women of color, got to help, specific demographic, and you paid me this much, and I didn't have to come in, that's the only way I would stay. And they ended up bringing me back on as a consultant to help them prevent other black women from quitting the company. But a lot of times we just don't know to ask. Like, what you want, you can ask for. And like, one thing I think is important is that you may be a product of your environment, but you're not a victim to the circumstances. And I just want you guys to remember that too. But I forgot about that part, Sean.
That's all good. So I'll tell you what, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to start with Megan, then I'm coming to Zeke, and we're going to walk it down so you can all answer this question. Where did you start with the business or the work that you do now, and where are you now with that success of it? This is real practical, so make sure you take notes on what's taking place.
So yeah, you guys, I started out in college, built a business, secured that first contract, came home, got a job because my mom really wanted me to get a job. I was making less in my job than I was with that contract. Something in my intuition said, quit, it doesn't matter what your mom says, this is your life, you live the life that you want to live. So I quit my job. She's like, you're crazy, like, I don't support you whatsoever in quitting your job. Went from making $14 an hour at my job to grossing at 23 years old, $140,000.
Clap it up.
Skill sets that I taught myself. So fast forward to today, I'm in women's empowerment. So I represent the United States as their speaker for the U.S. Embassy for women's empowerment and entrepreneurship. So I travel to different countries and I tell them what's happening here in Detroit and how I got started.
Wow, we coming over to you, Zeke.
My start, and I'm still in the process. I want to let y'all know that now. I ain't made no $100,000 yet. You feel me? We on our way, but the first thing that I looked at when I started organizing was that a couple of things. Most of the organizers in our communities was elders, right? So you didn't see a whole bunch of young folks out here beating the grounds doing community work. And the second thing is, out of those people, most people who do community work is broke. You feel me? So it sounds good. Yeah, they out there for the community. You out there for the people. But how do you make money in doing this? And I remember when I first started, I was probably like a month in, and it was this huge party down at the Morgan Estates, and everybody, all the uppity, people in the city of Detroit was there. I'm a newcomer. Nobody knew who I was. And I remember talking to this individual, a very well-known individual in the city of Detroit at the time, and I told him, I'm just starting a organization. It's a pro-black organization, and we focusing on our community, and we're not gonna take government funding, and we not gonna take handouts and stuff like that. He laughed kinda and almost told me that would be impossible to maintain without taking white money or government funds. So, I always kept that in my head, like, wow, people really can't pick up a piece of paper without having a 501c3. You can't go talk to a kid at a school without having a 501c3 or getting a check. So first off top, I wanted to be different. I said that our movement will be organic regardless of what it is. So it started with a t-shirt for me. I was just tired of what was going on in the community. I wanted more people to be involved. I came up with a logo with a fist. I printed a t-shirt. If anybody who follow us, we at New Era Detroit. That's on Instagram. If anybody go to the last post, the very first post that we ever posted on our Instagram, it's a t-shirt. And it was just telling people to come out and get involved. And from that, it grew to action. And what I'm saying is that people thought that, we could not do it. How could you create your own businesses? So now we have apparel. We just came out with the first and only black business coupon book, which showcases all of the black business through the city of Detroit that our good brother JD got in his hand. We also have a news magazine that we push out every single month. We creating our own lane, so soon we will be at the 100,000 mark. and we'll be able to fund all of our chapters nationwide and worldwide. So what I'm telling y'all is I'm still in the process right now.
That's good.
It's very hard in doing this work. It is very hard doing community work. You got so many odds against you, especially financially, because it take money for stuff to happen. But I just want to let y'all know that y'all got to keep grinding, you feel me? Whatever it is, just like Ty and Stewie said, y'all got to keep going, you feel me? Like, it's going to be your first 5 years in business, whatever you do, it's going to be your toughest year. We on our 4th year, our 5-year mark will be this August. So, you know, we still in the grind, and everything we do for y'all. We put it all on the line for y'all. We risk our lives for y'all. So, you know, that's where we at right now. We started from the bottom, now we here.
All right. So now this is what I want to do, because I want to actually bounce back out to some questions, but I want you guys to finish. I want you to do it as quick as possible. I want to know that origin. I want to know where you are, and then we're going to bounce out so we can make sure we get the questions answered.
Okay, so I started in my senior year of high school, and I started sending out these daily messages, and thank you. And so I started with about, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 people. I went to Oak Park High School, so I was going through the hallway promoting myself, and I just had people signing up for the daily messages. What is it, April 2019? So today we have 45,000 people. If you get the daily messages, raise your hand. Okay,
right, clap it up.
So you see, so I just say that to say, oh, I made social media my best friend. I promote it on Twitter, on Instagram every day. It's free promo. I use my followers. I made social media my best friend, and I just show people how to get my messages. And my daily messages is what opened the door for my ministry, for people to book me. And yeah, that's it.
Wow, that's good. I like it.
I think that as an artist, the process is every day. Every day is a growing process. I'll tell you that. I've been singing all my life. I started singing in high school. I sung in church. I did choirs, plays, etc. But I was really into sports in high school. And I met my mom again when I got in 9th grade for the first time. My mom didn't raise me. My aunt raised me. 2 years later, my mom OD'd to drugs on Valentine's Day. For that reason, I stopped playing basketball completely. I got a job, started doing music. I'm an independent artist now, but even with a manager, even with people behind you, you still have to be able to support yourself and pay for your outfits for shows, you know what I'm saying, and get, you know, take care of yourself, because, you know, it's always up to you. I came from small shows, studio sessions in the basement, you know, you gotta start from somewhere. You gotta start small. And I know it's a lot of people in here who probably want to be an artist, but now I'm 22. I've been on tour with Big Sean. I was signed to Rock Nation. I've seen a lot.
Let's go.
But with that, in addition to my story, when my mom passed away in high school, I was very vulnerable at the time, and I wasn't able to actually finish high school. And I want to be a light for anyone who has lost anybody that they love, and I want you to know that you can still continue forward, and you can't let the loss of someone you love bring you down or bring your spirits down. It makes you stronger, and make sure y'all keep going. You can do what I do, period.
Awesome.
Y'all like this period word, man. So listen up, man. I feel like things really started for me when I turned 16 and I graduated from high school. I went off to college. And then I didn't even mention this earlier, but when I really came to the conclusion that nursing wasn't for me, you know, it was the most difficult thing to tell my mom. And I remember when I told my mom, I hopped on the phone, she was like, well, if you're not doing nursing, like, I'm not doing nothing for you. I'm not housing you. You can't come back here. You know, it's done. It's dead. And it was one of the biggest decisions in my life if I cared about my passions and if I cared to go through the rest of my life either loving what I do or hating what I do. And really making that decision, coming home, being homeless, living out my car, finding a friend to stay with, paying $300 for a room in the house, and really building myself all the way back up the way I wanted to, was one of the biggest decisions that I had to make in my life. So now I own an entertainment company. Now I'm on the radio. Like I said, I just graduated from college. I just bought a house down the block from my mama. You know what I'm saying? Things are a little bit different now. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit different, period.
All right, y'all, I started in college, and I'm going to just get this out of the way. I didn't do so well in college. And it's not for everybody, and that's okay, because there are other ways to get education as well, like traveling, getting outside of the city, seeing other cities, living in other cities. So with radio, I was able to do that. So I lived in some pretty cool cities. I lived in Miami, and I got fired in Miami. A lot of y'all are gonna get fired one day, and that's okay. Because after Miami, I left and went to LA. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't a beautiful thing. I was couch surfing, practically homeless, and it was hard. But I'm on my way rebuilding myself back now. I thank God for the job in Detroit. They say you're supposed to have 7 sources of income, right? I'm up to 4. So I'm getting there.
All right.
God
Awesome.
is good.
Awesome.
Period.
So guys, get ready. Right after Glenda, we're going to come back for some questions, so make sure you get your questions ready.
Well, I touched on a little bit about going to Alpena, which is right here, for any of you who don't know where that is. I started off making $5.34 an hour. Shooting my own stuff, being my own photographer, my own editor, my own everything. They call it a one-man band is what they call it. And from there, I went to Lansing, where I was making $12,500 a year, and I thought I was something else.
Oh, wow.
And also being my own editor at that time. So every time I moved up to a different station, I lost a job, which was fine for me. And then from there, I went to Flint. 45 G's, hey, I thought, here we go, we're on our way. And it was my first anchoring job in Flint, and I had the opportunity to work with some veterans in the business in mid-Michigan, Bill Harris and a few people that you open your eyes and your heart, you go through experiences, and you learn things. And now, here I am at WXYZ, which I'm so thankful for. It's been a long journey inside the walls of Channel 7 for me. Outside, it's a little different, but inside, it's been long. The best part about it is working with my mom and making history and having those things happen and being able to learn from her and everybody around her that I knew as aunties and uncles growing up as a professional instead of just as a child.
Awesome.
And so... Here
Awesome.
I am. Here I am. I'll be
And I'll
on at
say-
5 o'clock today if you guys want to turn me on.
And I'll say Glenda's amazing, period.
Period.
Glenda's amazing. I've actually done some interviews with her. I'm going to come to JD, but I need to see these hands so we can come around to our young people and ask them questions. Let's see those hands, all right? Let's make sure we get them ready to go. JD, you got the floor. 5 minutes? Say it again. 5 Emmys.
Testing.
All right, clap it up. 5 Emmy Awards. Okay. Excellent. So we have some questions in the audience. Let's go ahead and get those hands up.
Right here, Sean.
All right, excellent. We're right back here.
Hey, my name is Ariane, and this is for Micaiah. How do you know the situations we be going through? Because, I be having a situation, and you just be texting me out the blue, like, oh, thank you, Lord.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who signs up for the daily messages. I hope they all help y'all. I really just think of them, you know what I mean? It's really nothing, no grand big thing. I just think of them. And sometimes I think about the stuff that I'm going through, and I minister to myself, and I'm like, okay, if this is helping me, it's going to help these 45,000 people that's getting them. So I'm happy that they're helping y'all. That's good to hear. Make sure y'all tune in for the prayer calls, too. Amen.
Hey, Micaiah, how I signed up?
If you all want to sign up for the daily messages, come and see me after. But real quick, you can just text. It's @Micaiah. So in your message, you put @MIKIAH, and the number is 81010. It's completely free. I don't charge you. It's free. But the message is at Micaiah, at sign MIKIAH, and then the number is 81010. I see one hand, yes.
We'll go back to her because they don't have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yep.
All
So
right.
we'll get back
Just
to you,
make sure
ma'am.
once you at the end, make sure you catch up so you can get that information. Come right on over here.
Okay, hi, my name is Victoria. I want to know how y'all feel about the curriculum because it's like now certain stuff is getting took away from us as far as our education. Like now it's hard for VOTEC. Like VOTEC, they normally teach about business and like hair and nails and stuff like that. And it's like now it's getting taken out of schools. So it's like now I got to go far out to a school where it's not around my area. And I got to catch buses and stuff just to go where I think I'm going to learn something and it's going to help me further in life. And I feel like we shouldn't have to do that. And like also with schools, it's like the kids are not being heard. Like the youth, it's like I understand that we kids, but it's like kids have a voice too. Like they use nowadays like they use the adult word against us. Like all because we youth and stuff like that, like we could speak out too. And the stuff that we be saying and trying to express, like people don't understand us. But how do you guys think we should go about that, or how should we try to get help about that? That's
Well,
what I need.
let me say that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's get one person to respond.
Let me say this, is that as a young person, all of you young people, listen up. Your voice is stronger now than it's ever been. It's stronger now than it's ever been. You set up your own channel. You express yourself your own way. The trends and things that you watch and listen to, your ways of thinking and feeling are affecting business, period, especially my business where, a newscast a long time ago consisted of two of the same kind of people and the same kind of voice, and they just give you what you want. Now we're in a position where we have to talk about our families and our opinions slightly, and because these are the things that you've created the platform for that you want to hear. So your generation has a very strong voice. It's just all in how you use it as to how people will respond to you. Take responsibility for your words and your actions.
That's good. I think you had a response to JD.
It's I think she said it earlier. Even though you're in school and they got a curriculum, you got a phone. Like anything that you want to learn, you got to value your time. I see a lot of kids on Instagram more than they doing anything else. I see kids, so you got the little thing on there that can tell you how many hours you've been on Instagram. I go mentor a lot of kids, when they pick this up, they be on Instagram like 7-8 hours a day. It's like, use your time wisely. Like the things that you want to learn, if you're not being taught that, teach yourself that. You could Google and YouTube anything you want to. She said it right here. She learned how to code via the internet. Like, just Google it. Any question I want to know that I don't know, I Google, so use that. And then as far as the adult and the kid thing, the one thing that I pay attention to the most is that a lot of kids, you have to learn how to listen before you could get what you want to say heard. You have to listen to these adults. Respect is given and it's earned. So if you learn how to listen to these teachers, and sometimes in a classroom isn't the right time to ask a question, but as soon as that class over, go talk to that teacher and let them know how you feel and what changes that you want. The conversation always leads to change.
That's good. We're coming right over here to a question. We got a question over here? Where's the questions? Matter of fact, I want to ask all you guys a question real quick. How many guys know somebody that's in prison? Let me see a show of hands.
Great one, Sean.
How many of you wonderful students in this room know anybody that's in prison? That's a lot of hands. I want to share some with you guys. I have 7 brothers in which 3 of them are unfortunately dead and 3 of them have been to prison. And I'll tell you, one of them was my first mentee, and he did 12 years in prison. This is my younger brother. And he actually just came home about 8 months ago. I just want to shout my brother out. Where you at, bro? My bro right here.
Y'all give him a round of applause.
Shout you out, baby. I see you in the building, baby, all day long. It's so good I don't have to have you on the phone, you know what I'm saying? We only got 15 minutes, Nevertheless, any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? We got a question right here in the front. We want to get over here to this question. I see you, bro.
Hi, my name is Priya. I just want to ask you guys, how do you guys intend to keep this conversation going outside of this? I think this is the last State of the Youth, but beyond that, how do you plan to engage with us and keep us out of trouble and things like that?
I can answer that real quick. Before y'all leave, if y'all serious now, y'all got to be serious. The thing about life is you have to be serious about wanting to do. You know, people is not going to hold your hand and babysit you through life. Y'all at a stage now to where you have to be serious about the things that you want to do in life. And one thing that we do, if anybody is interested in community building and mentoring and things like that, every single Saturday, I know that school is not in on Saturday. Some people may go to school on Saturday, but most of y'all are free on Saturdays. Every single Saturday, we are in a different hood throughout the city of Detroit, cleaning up the community, passing out resources, and building relationships with the community, and building a relationships with the people who come out too as well. This is how we stay real tight with the community, and especially y'all. So from there, we're able to build relationships. You know, so if a ride is an issue, we're gonna work all of that out. But you know, for people who want to get involved, we want y'all to be involved. So like I said, every single Saturday we do this. We are the only people, not only in Detroit, but in the country, who out in the community for 16 long weeks throughout the spring and the summer. We just started last Saturday. We won't stop until August. So we out in the community building. Anybody who want to get actively involved, who need help, we have sisters who will help you start your business. If anybody who want to start businesses, we got people who will help you actually fill out the paperwork. I don't care if you just want to do T-shirts. We can help y'all do T-shirts. Whatever it is, let's get to it. Let's not waste no time. You know, take what we giving y'all today and run with it. Don't waste no time.
Do us a favor, Zeke.
Let's go.
How can they get in touch with you?
New Era Detroit. So y'all all got Instagram. The best way is to follow us on Instagram. Just like JD said, we know y'all on Instagram 9-10 hours a day. So we put all of our information on Instagram, New Era Detroit, NEWERA Detroit.
Excellent.
And y'all can follow us like that and get involved with what we got going on.
Excellent. Now, this is what I want to say, because I hear a lot of things about making impact, and what you just talked about, Zeke, and our young people ask about how can we keep the conversation going. We're asking about changing curriculum. You guys want to make a lot of change. That's what I'm actually hearing here. And one of the things that's extremely important about making change is something that I want you guys to address is, how important is it to vote? So somebody give it to me up here. I'm going to start with Stewie. I see your hand over there. How important is it for us to vote?
Yeah, and just piggybacking on that the last statement that was made, as far as how do we keep the conversation going, I mean, when I was y'all age, couldn't nobody tell me I wasn't grown. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to challenge y'all to keep the conversation going. If you need mentorship or you need guidance or whatever the case may be, that's really what we're here for. But the change,
let's go.
The change starts within you.
There you go, baby. Clap it up.
You gotta want it. We can only lead you to the water. We're not about to force no water in your mouth. We're not about to do none of that. We're not setting up no IV, and that ain't happening. If you want it, you're going to get it. You're gonna find a way. You're gonna make a way. Something's gonna happen. The change, it has to start within you. Going towards the voting, I mean, you guys should all be interested in the voting process right now, because as little sometimes that we can think when we're younger about how much of a difference we can make when it comes to voting.
That's right.
We can make all the change in the world as being a unit, moving as a unit, researching, seeing what's best for you in the long run, what's going to make a difference for you. You guys have to make that own research. No one is going to actually sit you down and tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Without you going out and really wanting someone to do that and really reaching for someone to show you, sometimes that just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So you have to do your own research in finding out what's going to be best for you and the life that you want to live, and you have to make that decision. You should get out here and vote, because at the end of the day, when you look up and you're 24, 25, 26, and things aren't going the way that you want them to go with your taxes, things aren't going the way that you want to go with your kids' education, with the community, with et cetera, that was on you in the beginning. That was on you to make those choices when you were a little bit younger. That was on you to do your research. That was on you to get out here and make the change within yourself. So,
Stewie, we about to vote for you, brother.
Oh, man.
You know?
Running for office 2020. No, but listen, you guys got to understand that the change does start within yourself.
All right.
I want to really quick too. Voting is extremely important, but what's more important than just people telling y'all to get out there and vote is the educational process of voting. Every single time election come around, and I need y'all to listen to this. I really need y'all to listen to this because this is a huge problem, especially in the black community, right? So we talk about resources and the things that we need in our community, and we're not holding ourselves accountable for getting involved mentally in what's going on in our community. How many people, by a show of hands, know all the people on the city council? You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking? Name how many people we have. Mary Sheffield, and this is a great reason why it's so important. She from the community. You feel me? She been on city council. This is her second term on city council, and we need more people like that who can relate to us so that we're able to get the things that we need within our community. Y'all see downtown, how beautiful downtown is, and how much emphasis they're putting on certain areas while continuously certain areas in the hood get overlooked. That's because the people that y'all not old enough to vote yet, but y'all parents and the people, we're not taking it serious. The last mayoral election, 80% of the people in the city of Detroit stayed home. How are we supposed to get progress in our communities if we're not involved in the process? And I get so sick and tired of people, I'm talking about our generation, my generation and up, just telling people to go vote. No, we have to put time into the process of voting.
Right.
It's no reason why we not in here educating on you. We need to know city council people. We need to know the people that's handling the money in the city. We need to know the people who's handling the contracts in this city. That's very important because y'all gonna inherit this city. So y'all need to get involved in the political process, and that's on us too. That's on everybody up here on this panel. We need to be more transparent on the voting process and not just say go vote because somebody died for you to vote. That's an ignorant way of thinking, and that's why we still in this matrix and nothing is changing in our community because we not getting involved in the mental process and the educational process of voting. And I just want to say big shout out to Mary Sheffield, who's been doing this for a very long time. You feel me?
Excellent. Thank you, Zeke.
The community, because it's a lot of people, I get frustrated with this because these people playing y'all. They not coming to y'all community. How many times you seen your mayor in your community? You feel me? Like y'all it's accountability time. Y'all don't work for them. They work for y'all. So y'all gotta make sure that y'all put that on, man, and respect the people who y'all see. Y'all see
Clap
Mary
it up for my man
Sheffield.
Zeke.
Respect that.
Clap it up. We feel your passion, brother. I'm coming over to Ty. I got JD. I got Glenda. This is going to be the last response for us so we can make sure we get to our people here.
And just to piggyback what Zeke said, too, I think this room will partially be responsible for voting for the next mayor of our city of Detroit, right?
Woo, woo.
I'm not saying no names, but I know who I'll vote for
Mary
this
Sheffield.
next mayor election and all that. I just want y'all to know it's one thing, too. It's like you guys here in this room, and I know I've been on the opposite side, too, where sometimes some lectures and things like that get boring because you feel like, oh, well, we already established. What they going to tell me that I already don't know and all that stuff. Well, like I said before, I've been in you guys' shoes. I've done this. I've done that. And you guys' generation, this generation is the most scariest generation to the rest of the world because you guys have power that we didn't have. The most powerful power that you guys have is this. And I think the young lady said something about, how can we get heard? How can we get heard? Well, JD said some of y'all on Instagram 8 hours a day. That's a shift at a job. So you guys are getting paid. So you guys are not getting paid just to look at other people's success or other people's drama and not focusing on your own stuff. Because the one thing that you have to realize in this world is your rep. Your rep. Not nobody else's, yours. Your street cred, your financial cred, and all that stuff. And just to touch on what Nipsey said last time that I checked, it was no smut on my rep. Can half of y'all say that in here now? Well, then let's get busy. Right. And vote Mary Sheffield mayor.
All right. JD, and then we're coming to Glenda.
I remember when I started taking voting seriously when it's crazy what Zeke said, it's just go vote. So I went in there to go vote, and I knew how I was voting for like two of the people. And when I'm looking down this list, it's all these other names that you have to pick people to vote for, and I don't know who they are or what they stand for. So after that, I promised myself that I would start educating myself to just see who's running for what. What do they represent? Do they represent what I want, the change that I want, the things that I want? So that's the first thing first. You have to make sure to see who's on that ballot, not just the mayor, not just when you go vote, it ain't for 2 people, it ain't for 3 people. Right. See who's all on there, what they stand for, so you're not just picking A, B, C, D. You know, you really know who you're going for. And then two, just consistency. I've been knowing Mary Sheffield for a long time, and this has nothing to do with this. This has to do with how consistent she's been. She's always in the community. She's always pushing forward, and it's never for $1. She can easily do a lot of things to get money, because I know a lot of politicians, and they're more focused on fundraisers and things of that nature, and as opposed to the community. She does so much for the community. Now, I don't believe she gets the recognition she deserves, but the great part about her is she doesn't ask for it. She just does the work.
Clap it up, clap it up.
And then the one thing I would say about this room too, and we said it 2 times, this doesn't have anything to do with voting, but it does have something to do with leadership. How many of y'all rather be in a classroom right now instead of right here with listening and learning? Right, so we're here teaching y'all, and this goes back to what we said earlier. We gotta start holding each other accountable. I see 3, 4, 5 people in here sleep, and I see people sitting next to them, and they just letting them sleep. See, when I was in high school, we did the same thing. We was cool, we didn't care. But we in a day and age where caring is a necessity. You shouldn't let somebody be next to you sleep when they could be learning, because if this is a friend of yours, they missing out on jewels and y'all allowing them to. So again, I'm saying this and I see 3 people sitting right next to a guy to sleep. Wake them up. And this is real life, because and it's very rare that when you get older, you'll be around a lot of people that you're still in high school, but if you are, the people that wasn't paying attention, they're gonna drag you down. The people that were getting the information, this is free information, free. That's that good. A lot of us get paid to give out. I don't talk for free. Very rarely do I. A lot of this are doing this for free, and we're giving up our time for free, giving up free game information, and we got some people missing it. Don't let your friends miss out on that, because y'all hang out with these people daily. You want them to be able to give you game when you don't have it, lift each other up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you are accountable for one another. Clap it up. Thank you, JD. We're coming over to Glenda for you to give us some energy and your final words.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say that there is a large population of people in this city, in the state, and in the country that will be very happy if you don't exercise your voice. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why there's an effort always in every election to hold back a certain voice, and particularly an African American voice, because it's strong. Use your strength. Use your strength to make change. And as you said, we're here because we care and because we love you and we love our next generation and we want to be open to you. I cooked breakfast, put my daughter on a school bus, got dressed, and I'm here, and I won't see my house until 11:30 tonight. All right. We care. And so reach out. We're here, and we love you.
And so I'm actually going to bring the final word over here to Megan, and then I'll have some final words.
Really quickly, so I see like some ladies and some guys like really zoned in. It's this young woman in the boots right here. We've been like making eye contact for throughout the session. So I want to take 5 ladies to lunch on Saturday. If you guys are free, we'll meet downtown. But I really feel your synergy, so let's talk.
Please take her up on that offer, ladies.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know this. The people that you have right here, I want you to know that somebody has your information to get to where you want to go. Mentorship is a real thing, and I want you to know that I want to tap into these people. Don't let them get out of here without getting their information and being able to connect with them. Another thing is this. Voting is extremely important. During the civil rights era, what you had, some of the most powerful people that made things happen were young people. Anytime there's a shift, at the helm of the shift is young people. So we want to give a clap up for you guys one more time. Let's give a clap up for you. And we want to make sure that we can thank President Pro Tem Mary Sheffield for putting this together.
Thank you all. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then give it up for Sean, our moderator. And then give a standing ovation to our panelists who did an amazing job today. Yes. And then last but not least, let me thank and give it up to your principal, Miss Hogan. Give it up for your principal who allowed us to be here today. All right, so thank you all for coming out. You all are going to go now to your next lunch period when you all leave from here. Thank you so much. If you all want to engage with some of the panelists before you leave, you can do that, but then please go to your next lunch. Thank you so much for tuning in to our 6th State of the Youth conversation. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I have committed myself to touring the entire city, going to every single high school and having this discussion. Please follow me on social media at Mary Sheffield, and I hope that you will continue to follow the work that I do here in the city of Detroit.